welcome back to my channel. This is Alrence, a licensed real estate sales agent in New York City. And today's video, I will be going to discuss with you guys what's the difference between co-ops, condos, townhomes, and condops. So if you're just starting your search, familiarizing yourself with different apartment types in Manhattan, their terms could be very beneficial for you because they all have their own pros and cons. So the city itself is composed of 75% co-op, 5% condops and townhomes, and 20% condos. So which one is which? Which one is perfect for you and suitable for your needs? In this video, I will highlight the pros and cons so you will be able to know which one is the right fit for you. So let's first start with a cooperative, which is also known as co-ops. As what I've said earlier, co-ops mostly occupies the 75% of the New York City's real estate market. When purchasing a co-op, one usually purchases a stock from the owner of the building, which is the corporation, and usually the land beneath. A stock certificate representing the purchased shares and a proprietary lease, meaning giving you the right to occupy the apartment, will be given at the closing. The size of the apartment and the amenities will determine the allocated number of shares. Therefore, it will determine the price of the maintenance. Maintenance fees covers the operational cost of the building, such as upkeep of the common areas, staff salaries, real estate taxes, and if there's any underlying mortgage, the interest for it. So the co-op has a board of directors which is elected among shareholders. Their primary duty is to conduct the business of the corporation and maintain the building. So typically, the board is the one who will make an interview for prospective shareholder or prospective tenant before approving an application. The board has the right to deny or approve an application without a cause, so that's very, very risky for you. And typically, if you want to buy a co-op, it will be 3 to 4 months from showing, accepted offer, and closing before you will finalize everything. So remember that the board meets only once a month. So whether you're renting or you're a prospective buyer of a co-op, you need to wait if the board already passed their meeting. Most of the co-ops will require shareholders to live in the building as their primary residence. However, there are some exceptions who will allow for subletting. A prospective tenant or shareholder is required by the board to make a formal application and do a personal interview with the board afterwards, and then they will decide if they will approve it or not. Of course, the time frame varies from building to building, so you need to make sure to ask your agent first. So the pros of buying a co-op is that first, it's usually typically more cheaper compared to a condo. Second is that you'll get more square footage for your money. Third is that the occupancy rate of the people who live there are mostly shareholders or the owners of the apartment. Fourth is that co-ops are financially stable. And then the fifth is that the maintenance will be typically lower because the people who will decide for it are shareholders of the building too. So the cons of buying a co-op is that first, it's very, very strict compared to a condo. Second is that the financing is very strict too. I've seen some co-ops just approve 10 to 20% of financing, and then I've seen some who doesn't accept any financing at all. So let's say the apartment is $450,000. You should have $450,000 in your bank. And please don't forget that you need at least 2 years of post-closing liquidity if you wanted to buy a co-op apartment for you to be able to be approved. And the third one is that it's so hard for you to rent the apartment because most of the time you will need to do a lot of process. It's like buying an apartment already. So if you're a renter, you need to make sure that you have 3 to 4 months to spare before getting approved for the apartment. You also need to be ready for the fees. You also need to be ready for the interview. And then if you're approved, then good for you. But if you're not approved, you're not even given an explanation, and you wasted 3 to 4 months of your time. So now let's go to condominiums. The ownership of a condominium is very, very similar to a real property because the owner will have a deed, and the deed will take not only the apartment itself but also the percentage of the common areas of the building. Real estate taxes may be deductible, however, common charges are not. The board of directors are elected by the owners of the building to see the day-to-day operations of the building and also enforce the house rules. The board uses the common charges to pay for the maintenance of the building, to pay the staff, if there's any repairs in the building, they will take care of it, and also like as an emergency fund if they need major repairs for the building. Condominiums also include the right of first refusal within 20 to 30 days from submitting a formal application. But just so you know, guys, that this rarely happens. The right of first refusal is just like the condo saying to you that, hey, don't sell your apartment, we'll buy it to you instead. So it's very rare, and in my experience, I've never seen one before. So don't worry about it. So first is that you really own the apartment compared to a co-op, which you only own a share from the corporation. The second one is that you've got more flexibility. You can rent the apartment anytime you want with whoever you want, and no one will dictate how much you need to rent the apartment. And then the lease term compared to a co-op, which has way more rules that I've explained earlier. And the third one is that you'll get lots of amenities for a condo, but please do remember that the more amenities you have, the higher your common charges each month will be. So the cons of buying a condo is that first, it's very expensive because of the flexibility it offers. Second is that there's very limited inventory. As what I've said earlier, condos are just 20% of New York City's real estate, and also foreign buyers are very into condos. It's very desirable for them because first, it offers flexibility. Second, it's easier to get approved. And third, it's easier for you to rent the apartment if you want to use it as an investment. The fourth one is the mortgage recording tax. If you buy a condo using a loan, you need to pay a mortgage recording tax. Now we go to Condops, and let me explain to you what is it. So condops are also known as cooperatives, which operates in a condominium style. And last but not the least, what is a townhome? The purchaser of a townhome receives a fee simple ownership of the apartment. The owner is responsible for payment of the property taxes and also the maintenance of the property, which is like heat and hot water, gas, electric, Wi-Fi, as well as the insurance. The owner is the only one responsible for approving the lease or sale of the property, compared to a co-op or a condo that you have a process to follow, wherein you put the application form and then you need to go to an interview or just the formal standard application process. This is way much easier compared to the other buildings. So if you own an apartment, you typically are responsible for everything. For example, something broke on your apartment, which is like your door, your window, or your roof. And also you need to maintain the outside of your apartment. All of those responsibilities are solely yours. The only time that you will not do it all by yourself is if you hire a property manager. There are also different kinds of townhomes. There are single property townhomes, there are multi-dwelling townhomes, and also please keep in mind that homes that are larger than 4 family are considered as commercial purchase. So the pros of owning a townhome is that first, there is a low carrying cost. You don't need to pay for maintenance or common charges unlike a condo or co-op. Second one is that there's way more faster closing because you don't need to get an approval from the board. If you're the owner, you're in charge. You will be the one who will decide. The third one is that you got flexibility. Like a condo, you own the home and you can do whatever you want. The fourth one is that you don't only own the air inside the apartment, but also the lot where it stands. And the fifth one is that real estate taxes are lower. The cons of owning a townhome is that first, the maintenance is all on you. Remember, in a co-op or in a condo, you will be sharing the common charges and maintenance with other people. On this one, you will be on your own and you will be responsible for everything. And the second one is that there's very limited inventory because, as what I've said earlier, New York City real estate is typically composed of condos and co-ops, and townhomes is just like the remaining 5%. And the third one is that if you rent a townhome, it can be more stressful compared to a condo or a co-op because there's no board that will help you through the process unless you will hire a manager that will help you manage the building. So there you have it. Thank you so much to everyone who watched my video until the end. Now that you know the difference between condos, co-ops, townhomes, and condops, you will be able to decide which one is a great fit for you. Thank you so much again for watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe at the end of my video for more real estate updates and finance tips in general. Bye!